Tom lived a quiet life on Station 12, a small trade outpost floating near the edge of the neutral zone. The station was old, full of creaking walls and blinking lights. But Tom liked it that way. He worked in the repair bay, fixing broken parts from ships that came and went. Life was simple, predictable, and he liked it like that. That morning, everything changed. The sky above the station flickered with warning lights. A ship was approaching fast, big, powerful, and not listed. In the trade logs, people ran to the windows to watch. Even the station manager, who rarely left his office, came out to see. The warship was black and red, shaped like a spear, with the symbol of the Zerati Empire glowing on its side. Zerati ships never came to places like this. Tom wiped his hands with a cloth and stepped out of his workshop. He joined the small crowd. Gathering near the docking ring, everyone was whispering. Some were scared, others were excited. But Tom just felt curious. The ship docked with a heavy thud. The airlock hissed open. Out stepped 6 armored warriors, tall and strong, wearing helmets that hid their faces. Their armor looked sharp and ancient, like it had seen hundreds of battles. They stood in formation, silent and still. Then, one of them stepped forward. She reached up, removed her helmet, and looked around with sharp golden eyes. Her skin was bronze. Her hair was black and tied in tight braids. She looked proud, dangerous, and powerful. She looked straight at Tom. Without saying a word, she walked across the docking bay. Her armor clanked with every step. People moved out of her way. Tom stood frozen, confused and nervous. She stopped right in front of him, close enough that he could see the scars on her cheek. "You are Tom," she said. He nodded slowly. "Yes, I am Rina, warrior of the Zerati. You belong to me." The words hit him like a hammer. People gasped. The station manager stepped forward, his face pale. "Excuse me, what do you mean?" Rina ignored him. Her eyes stayed on Tom. "We are bonded, since childhood," she said. "I have come to collect you." Tom blinked. "What? No, I think you're mistaken. I've never met you before. You were just a boy," she said calmly. "You were brought to my world for safety during a rescue mission. We played together. You were kind. You followed me into the forest. We bonded under moonlight." Tom laughed nervously. "I don't remember any of that. You touched my forehead," she said. "I touched yours. That is our sacred right. Our souls were linked. That bond is not broken." Tom looked around. People were staring, some with open mouths, others whispering. He felt heat rise in his face. "I really don't remember," he said again. "I was on Zerth once. A long time ago. My father was part of a peace team. But I was just a kid. It was only for a few days." Rena's face didn't change. "That was the time. You were 6 years old. You followed me into the storm. I saved you. We became one." "I think I'd remember something like that," Tom said. Taking a step back, "You were taken away too soon, before your mind could seal the memory." The station manager tried to interrupt again. "Look, if this is some kind of—" Rena turned slightly. "This is a private matter between him and me." Her voice was calm but firm, and no one dared argue again. Tom rubbed the back of his neck. His heart was racing. A warrior from a feared alien race had just claimed him in front of everyone, and he didn't know what to say. "Why now?" he asked. "Why come after so many years?" "I searched for you," she said. "The bond stayed in my heart. When I found your name on a transport list, I followed, and now I am here." Tom was speechless. "I don't want to force anything," he said finally, "but I don't remember. I don't feel any bond." "You will," Rena said. "I will take you to my world, to the tree where we bonded. You will see, you will remember." "I can't just leave," Tom said. "This is my home, my job. You do repairs," she said. "But you are more than that. I know you, even if you have forgotten." Something about the way she said it made Tom pause. She wasn't threatening. Her voice was steady, her eyes sharp, but there was something soft behind them, something real. Tom looked around. The crowd had started to back away, unsure of what to do. The station manager shrugged, clearly out of his depth. "You're serious about this," Tom said. "I crossed 3-star systems," Rena replied. "This is not a game to me." Tom sighed. His head hurt. Nothing made sense. But part of him deep inside felt a strange pull, a curiosity, a question that needed answering. "All right," he said finally. "I'll go with you, just for a while. To see, to understand." Rena nodded. "That is all I ask." And with that, the warrior turned and led him back toward the warship. Tom followed, his heart pounding, his mind racing. He didn't remember the past, but something told him the future was about to change forever. Tom sat quietly inside the Zerati warship, staring at the dark walls and glowing lines running through the floor. The ship was quiet, but every part of it felt alive, like it was watching him. Rena sat across from him, silent as well. Her helmet rested beside her, and her long braids hung over her shoulder. Tom still didn't know what to believe. "I didn't think your people bonded with humans," he finally said. "We don't," Rena replied. "Not usually. You were the only one." Tom rubbed his eyes. "So what made us different?" Rena leaned back. "You were kind, curious. I was young too, but I felt it. When you got lost in the storm, I went after you. We almost died together. After that, we were linked. I still don't remember. You were taken away the next day. You were given a memory blocker to keep you from fearing the war around you." Tom looked up sharply. "Who gave me the blocker?" "Your father's team. They said you were too young to carry fear." Tom leaned back in his seat, thinking. He did remember flashes, bright lights, strange trees, and a face he couldn't name. Maybe it really happened. Maybe this woman wasn't lying. But the idea of being bonded to someone he couldn't remember still felt strange. "What happens if I never remember?" he asked. Rena looked straight at him. "Then I will let you go. But not until I've tried." Tom respected that. She was strong, but not forceful. He could see she believed what she was saying. The ship entered warp. Stars stretched across the view window as they shot through space. Rena stood and offered him a drink. The liquid was blue and sweet, unlike anything he had tasted before. She explained it was a calming drink from her homeland. He thanked her and drank slowly. They arrived at Zareth's moon a few hours later. The ship landed near a village built into red cliffs. Stone towers rose from the rock, and bridges hung between them like spider silk. The air was dry, and the wind carried the scent of warm soil and sharp leaves. "This is where I grew up," Rena said as they stepped outside. Tom followed her through narrow paths and open courtyards. Zerati children paused to stare at him. Some whispered behind their hands. Others bowed their heads slightly at Rena. She was clearly respected here. A tall elder met them near a stone gate. His robes were dark, and his face was lined with age. "This is Tom," Rena said. "The one I told you about." The elder studied Tom with thoughtful eyes. "We wondered if he would ever return." Tom looked down. "I don't remember anything." The elder nodded. "That is expected. But the bond lives in more than memory." They entered the Hall of Roots, a quiet place filled with ancient trees and glowing vines. In the center stood a large tree with silver leaves. Rena touched its trunk. "This is where we touch foreheads," she said. "Under the moon. It was raining. You were shivering. I gave you my cloak. You gave me your name." Tom stared at the tree. It did feel familiar, but he wasn't sure if that was real or just suggestion. He reached out and touched the bark. It felt warm. They stayed in the village overnight. Rena gave Tom a small room in the stone tower near her quarters. He couldn't sleep. His mind kept spinning. Was it possible to bond with someone and forget? And why did this place feel both strange and familiar? The next morning, Rena took him into the wild forest beyond the cliffs. The trees there were tall and red, with wide roots and slow-moving vines. She walked confidently, knowing every path. Tom followed, careful with his steps. "We used to play here," she said. "You were afraid of the birds." "What birds?" A loud cry echoed through the trees, and a giant winged creature flew over them. Tom ducked. Rena laughed softly. "Those birds." Tom couldn't help but smile. "That part feels real." They reached a small waterfall. Behind it, a hidden cave waited. Rena stepped through first, then helped Tom inside. In the center of the cave was a small pile of smooth stones arranged in a circle. "We built this together," she said. Each stone was a wish. Tom knelt beside the stones. His hand brushed over one. A flicker ran through his mind, a quick image of small hands, rain, and laughter. He looked at Rena. "I think I saw something," he said. Rena nodded. "The bond is waking." They stayed in the cave for a while. Tom asked about her life. She told him about her training, her first battle, and how she rose to become a respected warrior. But she never forgot him, she said. Not once. Later, they sat on a rock watching the sunset. Rena didn't speak much, but her presence was calm. Tom felt something shifting inside him. It wasn't love, not yet, but it was something real. A connection, maybe. A feeling of something lost and slowly found again. "I don't know how this will end," Tom said. "Neither do I," Rena replied. "But I'm willing to keep trying." She nodded once, and they watched the sky turn red and gold together. That night, Tom dreamed of silver trees and soft rain. He saw a young girl pulling him through the forest, laughing. He saw a forehead touch, and the flash of a promise. He woke with a start, heart beating fast. Maybe the past wasn't gone after all. Maybe it was just waiting. Tom was beginning to feel the bond. Each day on Zareth showed him small things that seemed buried deep inside his mind. The silver tree, the stone circle, the sound of Rena's voice when she spoke to animals in the forest. These things stirred emotions he couldn't explain. He still didn't remember everything, but he no longer doubted that something had once happened between them. Rena noticed the change. She didn't push him, but her eyes watched closely. She smiled more, though, only when no one else was looking. Tom started walking beside her without needing to be asked. He began greeting people in her village. The younger ones called him Skyburn, and he didn't mind. But peace didn't last. One morning, just as the sun was rising, a loud alarm echoed through the cliffs. Rena jumped to her feet and grabbed her armor. Tom ran after her as warriors gathered in the main courtyard. A young scout stood before the elders, panting hard. "Raiders," he said. "Near the East River." Rena's expression changed. "How many?" "5 ships, marked with the symbols of the broken flame." The crowd grew quiet. Tom looked at her. "Who are they?" "Enemies of both our people," she said. "They attack traders, kidnap civilians, and sell weapons to criminals. They were pushed out of Zareth years ago, but now they have returned." Rena spoke with the elders. The decision was fast. She would lead a group of warriors to intercept the raiders. "I'm coming with you," Tom said. Rena turned. "This is not your fight. It became my fight the moment they entered Zarati space," he said. "And I've seen what you can do. I can help. You're not trained. I may not fight like you, but I know systems, engines, signals. If I can block their scans or slow their ships, it gives you more time." Rena paused, then nodded once. "Stay close to me." They flew out into small strike cruisers. The sky grew darker as they neared the East River. Tom sat at a control station while Rena stood near the front, her hand gripping the side rail. They found the raiders near a burned village. Smoke still rose from the huts, and children were being loaded onto cages. Rena's eyes narrowed. "We stopped them now." She gave the command, and the Zarati cruisers opened fire. The battle began fast and loud. Red blasts flew through the air, striking the ground and ships alike. Rena jumped from the cruiser before it fully landed, her sword shining in the light. Tom stayed at the console, trying to jam the enemy's signals. He worked fast, sweat on his forehead. He saw Rena fight. She moved like lightning, strong and quick, defending the trapped villagers with fierce power. Her team followed her lead, their shields up and blades ready. The raiders tried to retreat, but Tom locked one of their ships with a remote hack. One of the raiders saw Tom. The enemy ship turned and aimed straight at him. "Rena," he shouted through the comm. She looked back and saw the danger. Without waiting, she ran, faster than he thought possible. Just as the enemy fired, she threw herself in front of him, her armor taking the hit. Sparks flew. The force knocked them both back, but Rena stood again, shielding him with her body. I said stay close. She said. Tom nodded, heart pounding. You saved me. She looked at him. I always will. The battle ended with the raiders retreating. The Zarati rescued the villagers and began repairs. Rena had a burn on her side, but she ignored it. Tom helped patch her armor, hands shaking slightly. You could have been killed, he said. I knew the risk, she replied. But for me, for you, she said, her voice calm. Later that evening, as they flew back, Tom sat beside her. He looked out the window, the stars passing slowly. I felt something today, he said. When you jumped in front of me, what did you feel? Like it wasn't the first time. Like maybe you saved me before. Rena nodded. In the storm. Long ago. I wish I remembered it all. Tom whispered. You will, she said. But even if you don't, your heart already knows. That night, Tom had another dream. He was small again, running through the forest. Rain poured down. And he was lost. A girl with braided hair found him, holding out her hand. She smiled. And he took it. She led him to safety and under the silver tree. They touched foreheads. In the dream, he heard her voice say, I will find you again. Tom woke up with tears in his eyes. Something was returning. Something real. The bomb was no longer just a story. The next morning, Rena stood at the edge of the cliff, watching the sun rise above the silver trees. Her armor was cleaned, her sword sharp, but her thoughts were heavy. Tom walked up quietly and stood beside her. I had another dream, he said. I saw you in the storm. You were holding my hand. Rena turned her eyes toward him. It is returning, slowly, but not fully. I want to remember everything, Tom said. Not just pieces. I want to know the truth. There is a way, she said, but it is not easy. What is it? The trial of truth. Tom listened as Rena explained. The trial was an ancient Zarati ritual. It allowed to bonded souls to connect their minds and unlock forgotten memories. But it was not safe. The ritual could be painful. If one mind resisted too much, both could suffer. I'll do it, Tom said without hesitation. Rena looked at him closely. You are sure? I need to know. For you, for myself. They went to the Hall of Memory, a sacred place deep within the cliffs. The hall was filled with stone carvings, old weapons, and glowing blue crystals. An elder named Morrow prepared the ritual. He was quiet, with steady hands and kind eyes. You will sit across from each other. Morrow said, you must be calm. If fear grows too strong, the memory may stay locked forever. Tom and Rena sat on opposite sides of a round stone table. In the center was a bowl of shimmering water. Morrow placed a hand on each of their shoulders. Look into the water, he said, and open your minds. The air grew cold. The light dimmed. The water began to glow. Tom felt a pull, like his thoughts were being drawn forward. He saw flashes, trees, fire, laughter, fear. Then everything went dark. Suddenly, he was standing in a forest again. But this time, it felt real. The wind touched his skin. The rain hit his face. He saw a younger version of himself, small and lost, a child. He heard Rena's voice calling out, Tom. Where are you? The child Tom cried. Rena, also young, appeared through the trees. She wrapped a cloak around him and held his hand. Together, they walked to the silver tree. I remember this, Tom whispered. They sat under the tree. The rain slowed. The moon appeared. Rena touched her forehead to his. This is the bond. Her voice echoed. You are my heart friend. Tom smiled. The memory was clear now. The warmth, the closeness. It was real. But then, everything shook. A dark shadow fell over the memory. A group of adults appeared, human and Zarati. He must forget, one said. No, young Rena cried. He belongs here. It's not safe, another human said. We'll use the mind block. Tom felt the pain as the memory faded. A bright light filled his eyes. The connection broke. He gasped and opened his eyes in the real world. The ritual was over. Rena was breathing hard across the table. Tom stood. Slowly, I saw it, he said. All of it. We were just children, but the bond was real. Rena stood too, her eyes shining. You remember? I remember everything. Morrow stepped forward and placed both hands together. Then the trial is complete. But as they left the hall, a voice stopped them. It was Commander Veller, an older warrior from the northern clan. His armor was darker, his face stern. "This changes nothing," he said. "The boy is human. The bond was never meant to be." Rena stepped in front of Tom. "He is not a boy anymore. He is my bonded one." Veller frowned. "The bond may be true, but it is not accepted. Many of our people still believe humans are weak." Tom stepped forward. "I'm not here to prove anything, but I'm not weak." Veller's eyes narrowed. "We shall see." He turned and left Rena's side. He was one of the voices who pushed for your memory to be erased. He believed I was wasting my future. Tom clenched his fists. "He took yours. From me, he is not the only one," Rena said. "There are others who fear what we represent." "Then we face them," Tom said. Together, they returned to the village, and the news spread fast. The bond was real. Tom's memory had returned. Some celebrated, others stayed silent. That night, Tom and Rena sat near the silver tree. "You were brave today," Rena said. "I wanted the truth," he said, "and I found it. I belong here, Rena. I may not have grown up on Zareth, but part of my soul never left." She looked at him, her voice soft. "You are not the same boy, but your heart is still the same." "And yours," Tom said. For the first time, he reached out and touched her forehead with his own. This time, it was not forgotten. The stars above Zareth were quiet, but danger was rising below. Tom and Rena walked together through the village, their bond now fully known. Some of the Zarati welcomed Tom with respect. Others still looked at him with cold eyes. The memory trial had proven the bond was real, but it had also awakened fear in certain hearts. Rena had noticed whispers growing among some warriors, especially those loyal to Commander Veller. He was respected, but his pride was strong, and he had never trusted humans. Tom noticed it too. "They don't all accept me," he said one morning as he helped the elders fix a water system. "They fear change," Rena said. "But fear does not stop truth." Tom smiled. "You always sound like a leader." "I was trained to be one," she replied. Later that day, while walking through the lower forest, Tom found something strange, a broken piece of technology buried near an old tree. It looked like part of a signal disruptor military device. Not something common on Zareth. He brought it to Rena. She examined it carefully. "This doesn't belong here," she said. "It's used to block tracking signals." Someone was hiding something. Tom felt a chill run down his spine. "What if this is from the Raiders or from someone else?" she said. "Someone trying to keep the past hidden." Together, they went to Elder Morrow. He took the device, studied it, and frowned. "This is old," he said, "but not from the Raiders. It carries the Zarati command mark, a high-level one." Rena's expression hardened. "Someone from our own people use this." Tom leaned forward. "Could this be connected to the memory blocker?" "The thing used on me as a child." Morrow was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke carefully. "There were rumors long ago that someone in our ranks worked against the human peace mission. Someone who believed the bond between a Zarati and a human would bring weakness." Rena stood tall. "Do you know who it was?" Morrow looked at her, then away. The name was never proven, but many whispered it was Commander Veller. Tom clenched his fists. "He was the one who challenged the bond yesterday," Rena nodded. "He may be the reason you forgot everything." Morrow placed a hand on her shoulder. "If this is true, it must be brought into the light. But be careful. Veller is powerful. He still has supporters." Tom stepped outside with Rena. The wind blew strong, shaking the tall trees. His thoughts were heavy. "He tried to erase everything," Tom said. "My memories, our bond. And now, he's planning something again. He fears what we mean together," Rena said. "If we stand strong, others will follow." "That scares him." Tom looked toward the northern cliffs. "What if he's working with someone outside the village?" Rena's eyes narrowed. "Then we find proof." That night, Tom used the old village archives to search for anything connected to Veller. He found several reports of ship activity near restricted zones. Most were dismissed as errors. But the pattern was strange. The same areas kept coming up, and Veller's name appeared in the clearances. He showed it to Rinna. This is enough to question him, she said, but not to stop him. Before they could plan more, a young warrior ran into the hall. There's trouble, he said. A group is gathered near the cliff tower. Veller is calling a meeting. He says the bond is false. He wants to end it. By force. Rinna stood quickly. We're going now. They reached the cliff tower just as the group began to shout. Veller stood at the center, his hand raised, his voice firm. The human is not one of us, he said. The bond is a trick, a mistake. It must be broken. Rinna stepped forward. You speak lies, Veller. Tom stood beside her. The crowd grew quiet. Veller looked at them both. You claim to be bonded, but this human brings danger. He brings weakness. No, Tom said. You fear what I remember. You fear the truth. Veller laughed. And what truth is that? You are the one who erased my memory. Tom said, you used a blocker. You stopped the bond from completing. Gasps came from the crowd. Veller's face darkened. You have no proof. Tom held up the signal device. This was found in the forest. It matches your command mark. It was used to hide your actions, Rinna added. We spoke to Elder Morrow. He remembers the whispers. The lies. You tried to break something pure. Veller stepped forward, anger burning in his eyes. This bond was never meant to be. You shame the Zerati. No, Rinna said. You shame us by hiding behind fear. The crowd watched in silence. Veller raised his hand. Then we settle this by combat. Tradition demands it. Rinna looked at Tom. He gave a small nod. I accept. She said. The match was set for dawn. That night, Rinna trained quietly, sharpening her focus. Tom stayed near, helping where he could. He wanted to fight beside her, but this was a challenge between warriors. He understood. You're not alone, he said. I know, Rinna replied. Your strength is with me. At sunrise, the circle was drawn on the flat stone near the village. The crowd gathered around. Veller entered the circle first, his blade sharp, his armor dark. Rinna stepped in calmly, her eyes steady. No words were spoken. The fight began. The stone circle was silent as Rinna and Commander Veller faced each other. Morning light touched the cliffs, casting long shadows across the ground. The villagers stood all around, watching closely. Some whispered, others stayed quiet. Everyone knew this was not just a fight between two warriors. It was a fight for the future. Tom stood outside the circle, his hands tight at his sides. His heart beat fast. He wanted to run in and help her, but this was Zerati tradition. Only the chosen warriors could enter the combat ring. He had to trust her. Veller moved first. His blade sliced through the air, quick and sharp. Rinna dodged and stepped aside, her own sword ready. She moved with calm focus, her feet light on the ground. Veller struck again, harder this time, but Rinna blocked it with her shield. You are strong, Veller said, but your heart is divided. My heart is clear, Rinna replied, and it is not afraid. Their swords clashed again. Sparks flew as steel met steel. Rinna circled him, watching every move. Veller was older, but his strength was heavy, and his blows were powerful. Still, Rinna was faster. She used his weight against him, dodging low and striking from the side. Tom watched her closely. Every move reminded him of the bond they shared, the quiet strength, the loyalty, the promise. This wasn't just a fight. It was a message. She was defending their connection. The battle continued. Veller struck hard, trying to break her defense. Rinna slipped past his guard and cut a shallow line across his shoulder. He growled but didn't fall. He turned and slammed her shield with his fist, knocking her back. Rinna hit the ground but rolled to her feet. Blood touched her lip, but she wiped it away and stood tall. You cannot stop the truth, she said. Veller charged again, but this time Rinna was ready. She blocked his strike, stepped in close, and knocked the blade from his hand. It flew across the circle. Veller tried to reach for it, but Rinna kicked it away. She pointed her blade at his chest. It's over, she said. Veller stared at her, breathing hard. His pride burned in his eyes, but he knew the rules. The circle had its law. He could not continue without a weapon. Rinna lowered her sword. You tried to erase the bond. You failed. Veller said nothing. He stepped out of the circle and walked away without a word. The crowd was silent for a moment. Then slowly, the warriors began to clap their fists to their chests, the Zarati sign of honor. Even those who had doubted now looked at Rinna with respect. Tom saw it happen. She had earned their trust not just through skill, but through truth. Elder Morrow stepped forward. Let it be known, Rinna has defended her bond with courage. The human. Tom is no longer an outsider. He is accepted. Tom let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Rinna turned to him, and he stepped into the circle. He didn't care about rules anymore. He walked up to her and took her hand. You didn't just fight for us, he said. You fought for what's right. She smiled. Just a little. You gave me the reason. That night, the village held a quiet gathering under the silver tree. There was no loud music, no dancing. Just peace. Rinna and Tom sat together near the roots of the tree. Stars blinked above them, and the wind was gentle. I didn't know what I was missing all these years, Tom said. But now, I can feel it, the bond, the memories, you. Rinna looked at him, even without the trial. Your heart would have found its way back. I believe that now, he said. She reached into her cloak and pulled out a small stone. It was smooth and blue, with a line carved down the center. This was your wish stone, she said. From the day we bonded. Tom held it in his hand. The shape fit perfectly in his palm. His fingers closed around it. I don't remember the wish, he said. You said, let us meet again one day, when we are strong. He looked at her. Then I think the wish came true. She nodded. It did. They sat in silence for a while, watching the stars. No one disturbed them. No more voices of doubt. No more challenges. Just the two of them, bonded once in childhood, now united again. I don't know what comes next. Tom said, do I stay here? Do we return to the stars? We decide together, Rinna said. Whatever path we take. We take it side by side. Tom smiled. That's the first plan I actually like. And under the same silver tree where two children once made a promise to hearts beat together again, stronger, clearer, and no longer divided. The morning light was soft over the Zarati village. Tom woke with a quiet smile. The silver tree outside his window shimmered gently in the sun. Today felt different, important. Rinna was already awake. She stood outside, watching the village come to life. When Tom joined her, she looked at him with warm eyes. Today is the day, she said. Tom nodded. The day of the bond ceremony. Yes, she smiled. To make our bond official. To show everyone we are united. They walked together to the village square. The elders, warriors, and villagers gathered. The air was filled with hope and curiosity. Tom felt his heart race. Elder Morrow stepped forward. Today, we honor the bond between Rinna and Tom, a bond that survived time, memory, and doubt, a bond that shows our peoples can be one. Rinna and Tom stood side by side. Rinna took Tom's hand, and the crowd quieted. Tom, she said, do you accept this bond, not just as a memory, but as a promise for the future? Tom looked into her eyes. He felt the weight of everything they had been through, the confusion, the battle, the memories returning, and he felt the strength of the bond between them. I accept, he said clearly. I accept it with my heart. Rinna smiled. Then I, Rinna, accept you as my bonded one. The elders raised their hands, and the crowd cheered softly. The bond was renewed. After the ceremony, Tom and Rinna walked to the silver tree. The sun was higher now, warm on their faces. I never thought I would find this, Tom said. Not the bond, not the memories. You found both because you never gave up, Rinna said. Tom looked at her. And you never stopped searching. They sat under the tree. Tom took out the blue stone from his pocket. This is more than a memory now, he said. It's a part of who I am, Rinna nodded. And you are a part of my world. Tom looked around. The village felt like home. The people, the trees, the sky was no longer strange. It was where he belonged. What happens next? Tom asked. Rena smiled softly. We build the future together. You and me, human and Zarati. Tom laughed. I like that idea. Days passed, and Tom learned more about Zarati life. He trained with Rena, learning how to fight, how to listen to the land, how to honor the old ways while bringing his own ideas. The villagers began to accept him fully. Children ran to him, calling him Skyburn. Warriors respected his courage. Even those who had doubted him grew quiet. One evening, as the sun set, Tom and Rena stood on the cliffs, looking out at the stars. Do you miss Earth? Rena asked. Sometimes, Tom said, but I think I'm where I'm meant to be. Rena reached for his hand. Then we are home. The stars blinked above, shining bright. Two worlds had come together. Two hearts joined again after years of forgetting. The bond was no longer just a childhood memory. It was a living promise. Tom looked at Rena and smiled. We found each other again, he said. And we never will lose each other, she replied. The future was uncertain, but together they would face it, stronger, united, and ready.